Our story begins on the scorched plains of Mustafar, where Darth Vader, cloaked in black armor, stands motionless before a river of molten lava. The air hums with the weight of his mechanical breath, each exhale a reminder of the man he once was, now buried beneath pain and rage. Only days have passed since Padmé's death, her final breath haunting him like a wound that refuses to heal. Yet, in the Force, a faint pulse stirs. Two presences, fragile but radiant, calling to him from across the stars. His children, Luke and Leia, infants hidden from the galaxy, are alive. Vader's gloved fist clenches, the leather creaking. He should destroy them, erase the last tether to Anakin Skywalker. But something deeper, a flicker of the man he was, demands he find them. The choice is made in silence, and with it, the galaxy's fate begins to shift. The discovery comes not by chance, but through the meticulous cruelty of the Inquisitorius. On Coruscant, in the shadowed halls of the Imperial Palace, the second sister kneels before Vader, her voice trembling as she reports a lead. A smuggler on Tatooine, caught trafficking stolen kyber crystals, babbled of a woman resembling Padmé Amidala, seen with two infants in the Lars homestead. Vader's presence grows colder, the air tightening around the Inquisitor. He dismisses her with a wave, his mind already racing. Tatooine, the dust-choked world of his childhood, holds his children. The irony cuts deeper than any lightsaber. Without a word, he boards his TIE Advanced, the starfighter slicing through hyperspace toward the desert planet, driven by a purpose he cannot yet name. On Tatooine, the Lars homestead nestles in a quiet canyon, its domed roof barely visible against the dunes. Owen and Beru Lars, simple moisture farmers, cradle the infants Luke and Leia, unaware of the storm approaching. Obi-Wan Kenobi, now a hermit cloaked in tattered robes, watches from a distant ridge, his senses prickling with unease. The Force whispers of danger, a darkness drawing near. He has guarded the twins since their birth, entrusted by Bail Organa and Yoda to keep them hidden from the Emperor and his enforcer. But Vader's arrival is no mere coincidence. The Force has betrayed their secrecy, and Obi-Wan knows a confrontation is inevitable. He grips his lightsaber, its weight a reminder of battles fought and losses endured. Vader's ship lands in a swirl of sand, the ramp lowering with a hiss. The twin suns beat down, casting his shadow long and jagged across the desert. He moves with purpose, his cape billowing like a storm cloud, toward the homestead. Owen steps out, blaster in hand, his face set with defiance. Beru clutches the infants inside, her heart pounding. Vader's voice, amplified by his mask, cuts through the silence, demanding the children. Owen refuses, his courage born of love for the twins he has sworn to protect. Vader raises a hand, and Owen is lifted, choking, his blaster clattering to the ground. Beru screams, but before Vader can enter, a blue blade ignites behind him. Obi-Wan Kenobi steps forward, his stance calm but resolute, the desert wind tugging at his robes. The duel erupts with ferocity, lightsabers clashing in a blur of red and blue. Obi-Wan fights with precision, his movements a dance of survival, while Vader's strikes are raw power, each blow shaking the ground. Sand swirls around them, the air crackling with the Force. Obi-Wan speaks no words, but his eyes burn with sorrow, seeing the monster his friend has become. Vader's rage is a furnace, fueled by the betrayal of Padmé's death and the Jedi's lies. He senses the infants inside, their presence amplifying his need to claim them, not as children, but as a means to defy Sidious, to forge a legacy beyond the Sith. Obi-Wan holds his ground, deflecting blows that would shatter stone, but Vader's strength is relentless, driving him back toward the canyon's edge. Inside the homestead, Beru huddles with Luke and Leia, their tiny cries piercing the chaos. She knows they cannot stay. Slipping through a hidden tunnel, she carries the twins toward a speeder hidden in a nearby cave, her hands trembling but steady. Owen, released from Vader's grip, staggers to his feet, grabbing a vibroblade from the shed. He charges Vader, a desperate act to buy Beru time. Vader barely glances at him, flicking his wrist to send Owen crashing into the homestead's wall, bones snapping on impact. Obi-Wan seizes the moment, leaping over Vader's blade to push him back with a force wave, giving Beru a fleeting chance to escape. The speeder roars to life, streaking across the desert toward Mos Eisley, where Bail Organa's agents wait to smuggle the twins to Alderaan. Vader senses the infants slipping away, their presence fading in the Force. His fury surges, a black tide that threatens to consume him. He hurls Obi-Wan into a boulder, the Jedi's blade skittering across the sand. Obi-Wan rises, blood trickling from his brow, and centers himself, knowing he cannot win this fight. His goal is delay, not victory. Vader advances, his lightsaber a glowing arc of death, but Obi-Wan's resolve holds firm. He parries, redirects, and retreats, leading Vader away from the homestead and deeper into the canyon. The duel becomes a test of endurance, each man drawing on the Force to outlast the other. Obi-Wan's thoughts drift to Anakin, the boy he trained, now lost to this machine of hate. Vader's mind, however, is fixed on the twins, a spark of Anakin stirring within him, whispering of redemption he refuses to acknowledge. Beru reaches Mos Eisley, her speeder weaving through the crowded streets. She hands Luke and Leia to a hooded figure, a rebel operative named Ram Koda, who promises to deliver them to Bail Organa. The twins' cries soften as they are bundled into a freighter, its engines warming for departure. Beru collapses, tears streaming down her face, knowing she may never see them again. Back in the canyon, Obi-Wan falters, his strength waning. Vader's blade grazes his shoulder, searing flesh, but Obi-Wan rolls away, using the Force to collapse a rock formation between them. The debris buys him seconds, enough to vanish into the desert, leaving Vader alone amidst the rubble. The Dark Lord's rage is palpable, a scream echoing through the Force, but the twins are gone, their trail cold. Vader returns to his ship, his armor scarred from the duel. He kneels before a holocom, reporting to Emperor Palpatine. The Emperor's voice is silk over steel, probing for weakness. Vader reveals nothing of the infants, claiming only that Obi-Wan was sighted and escaped. Sidious orders him to pursue the Jedi, but Vader's mind is elsewhere. The twins are out there, and he will find them. On Alderaan, Bail Organa cradles Leia, while Luke is spirited to a safe house on Corellia, guarded by rebel sentries. Obi-Wan, hidden in the Jundland wastes, meditates, his heart heavy with failure, yet hopeful that the twins remain beyond Vader's reach. The galaxy holds its breath, the Force trembling with the weight of what is to come. The galaxy churns in the shadow of Vader's obsession. On Coruscant, the Imperial Palace looms like a monolith of durasteel and dread, its spires piercing the smog-choked sky. Darth Vader kneels before the Emperor's throne, his black armor reflecting the dim glow of holoscreens. Palpatine's voice slithers through the chamber, questioning the failure on Tatooine. Vader's silence is a fortress, concealing the truth of the infants. He speaks only of Obi-Wan's escape, fueling Sidious's suspicion, but deflecting scrutiny from Luke and Leia. The Emperor commands a galaxy-wide hunt for the Jedi, but Vader's mind is elsewhere, plotting to find his children before the Sith can claim them. A spark of Anakin Skywalker flickers within, whispering of a future where the twins stand beside him, not as pawns, but as heirs to a new order. Vader's search begins in the underbelly of Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moon, where information flows like spice through shadowed cantinas. He moves through neon-lit streets, his presence a void that silences the crowds. A Rhodian informant, trembling under Vader's gaze, reveals a rumor of rebel operatives smuggling infants through the core worlds. The trail leads to Corellia, a planet of shipyards and secrets. Vader's TIE, advanced, descends through storm clouds, landing in a derelict warehouse district. He senses Luke's presence, faint but unmistakable, like a star pulsing in the Force. The safe house, hidden beneath a rusted factory, is guarded by Ram Kota's militia, their blasters no match for the Dark Lord's wrath. Vader carves through them, his lightsaber a crimson blur, leaving bodies strewn across the Duracrete. Kota, a grizzled Jedi survivor, ignites his green blade, standing between Vader and the infant Luke, cradled by a rebel nurse in a hidden chamber. The duel is brutal, Kota's ferocity clashing with Vader's unrelenting power. Sparks fly as blades lock, the warehouse trembling under the Force's weight. Kota fights for hope, his strikes fueled by defiance, but Vader's rage is a tide that drowns all resistance. He senses Luke's cries, amplifying his need to claim the boy. Kota leaps, aiming for Vader's chest, but the Dark Lord catches him mid-air, crushing his windpipe with a gesture. Kota collapses, gasping, as Vader steps over him. The nurse flees, Luke in her arms, but Vader's Force grip yanks her back, the infant tumbling to the floor. Vader kneels, his gloved hand hovering over Luke, the boy's blue eyes meeting the red lenses of his mask. For a moment, Anakin stirs, a pang of love piercing the darkness. But the mission demands focus. He takes Luke, leaving Corellia in flames, the safe house reduced to ash. On Alderaan, Leia rests in the royal palace, her tiny form swaddled in silk. Bail Organa and his wife Breha guard her fiercely, but whispers of Vader's rampage reach them. Obi-Wan, recovered from Tatooine, arrives in secret, his face etched with worry. He urges Bail to move Leia, sensing Vader's pursuit through the Force. The Organas arrange a decoy transport to lure Vader away, while Leia is smuggled aboard a freighter bound for Yavin 4, escorted by Ahsoka Tano, who has emerged from hiding to protect her master's daughter. Ahsoka's presence is a risk, her Force signature a beacon, but her loyalty to Anakin's legacy drives her. The freighter slips into hyperspace, its crew unaware of the Imperial probe droid trailing them, its red eye relaying coordinates to Vader's flagship, the Executor. Vader, with Luke secured in a shielded chamber aboard the Executor, interrogates the Force for Leia's location. The infant boy's presence strengthens his connection, amplifying his senses. He detects Ahsoka's signature, a familiar echo from a life he buried. The Executor jumps to intercept the freighter near the Gordian Reach, its massive silhouette eclipsing the stars. Rebel fighters scramble, their X-wings no match for the Star Destroyer's turbolasers. Ahsoka, wielding her white lightsabers, defends the freighter's bridge, her movements a blur of grace and fury. Vader boards the vessel, his boots echoing through the corridors, cutting down rebels with mechanical precision. Ahsoka confronts him, her blades clashing against his crimson one, the air thick with memories of their past. She sees no trace of Anakin, only a machine driven by obsession. Vader's strikes are relentless, forcing Ahsoka back, but she fights to protect Leia, her resolve unshaken. The duel spills into the freighter's cargo bay, where Leia lies hidden in a smuggling compartment. On Coruscant, Palpatine grows wary. Ahsoka's blades dance, deflecting Vader's blows, but his strength is overwhelming. She senses Leia's fear, a tiny pulse in the Force, and uses it to fuel her defiance. Vader, however, is unstoppable, his rage a black hole swallowing all light. He disarms Ahsoka, one white saber skittering across the deck, and pins her against a bulkhead with the Force. Her eyes burn with sorrow, pleading for the man she once knew. Vader hesitates, a flicker of Anakin surfacing, but the moment passes. He knocks Ahsoka unconscious, her body crumpling to the floor. Stepping over her, he finds Leia, her dark eyes mirroring Padme's. The twins are his now, a prize to wield against Sidious, but the weight of their gaze stirs something deeper, a longing he cannot name. Vader's silence, his absence from routine reports, signals a shift. The Emperor summons the Grand Inquisitor, ordering a shadow operation to track his apprentice. Probe droids and Inquisitors fan out, their mission to uncover Vader's secrets. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan and Bail Organa rendezvous on Yavin 4, their faces grim as they learn of the freighter's destruction. Ahsoka, rescued by rebel survivors, lies in a medbay, her injuries severe but her spirit unbroken. She warns Obi-Wan of Vader's intent, his obsession with the twins not merely possessive but dangerously personal. Obi-Wan meditates, seeking guidance from the Force, and senses a fracture in Vader's darkness, a sliver of Anakin fighting to surface. The Jedi resolve to rescue the twins, knowing the galaxy's future hangs in the balance. Vader returns to Mustafar, his fortress a jagged scar against the lava fields. Luke and Leia are placed in a fortified chamber, droids tending to their needs under Vader's watchful eye. He stands before them, his mask an impassive barrier, yet his thoughts churn. The twins are powerful, their force potential rivaling his own, but they are also a mirror, reflecting the man he lost. He envisions training them, forging them into warriors to overthrow Sidious, yet a quieter voice dreams of a family, a life beyond the Sith. The contradiction tears at him, his mechanical heart straining under the weight. Outside, the Executor orbits, its crew on edge, sensing their master's turmoil. Vader's plans are interrupted by a transmission from the Grand Inquisitor, reporting rebel activity near Kashyyyk. It's a trap, Vader knows, but the Force urges him to act, the twins' safety paramount. The Kashyyyk system becomes a battleground, rebel cruisers clashing with Imperial forces. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, healed but scarred, led a strike team to infiltrate the Executor. Their mission is desperate, the odds stacked against them. Wookiee warriors, led by Chewbacca, join the assault, their roars echoing through the jungle as they board Imperial shuttles. Vader commands from the bridge, his focus split between the battle and the twins. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka breach the fortress, navigating its labyrinthine corridors, their lightsabers carving through droids and stormtroopers. The Grand Inquisitor intercepts them, his double-bladed saber spinning in a deadly arc. Ahsoka engages him, her white blades a counterpoint to his red, while Obi-Wan presses forward, drawn to the twins' presence. The battle escalates, turbo lasers painting the sky with fire. Chewbacca's team disables the Executor's shields, giving rebel fighters a chance to strike. Vader senses Obi-Wan's approach, his rage reigniting. He leaves the bridge, striding toward the fortress, his lightsaber ignited. Obi-Wan reaches the chamber, finding Luke and Leia unharmed but crying, their tiny forms dwarfed by the sterile room. He lifts them gently, his heart aching for the brother he lost. Vader arrives, the door hissing open, his silhouette filling the frame. The air crackles with tension, red and blue blades igniting simultaneously. The duel is immediate, ferocious, each strike a clash of past and present. Obi-Wan fights with love, Vader with desperation, their blades a storm of light and shadow. Outside, Ahsoka defeats the Grand Inquisitor, her blades piercing his chest, but the victory is costly. She collapses, blood seeping from a wound, as Chewbacca carries her to safety. Obi-Wan holds his ground, protecting the twins, but Vader's power is a tidal wave. The fortress shakes, lava flows surging as the battle above rages. Obi-Wan deflects a blow, pushing Vader back with the Force, and flees with the twins, racing toward a rebel shuttle. Vader pursues, his cape a black wraith, cutting down obstacles with ruthless precision. The shuttle's ramp lowers, Chewbacca and Ahsoka aboard, but Vader's Force grip seizes the craft, its engines straining. Obi-Wan turns, placing the twins inside, and faces Vader alone, his blade raised for one final stand. The Mustafar fortress trembles, its obsidian walls shuddering as lava surges below and turbo laser fire lights the sky above. Obi-Wan Kenobi stands on the shuttle ramp, his blue lightsaber a defiant beacon against Darth Vader's crimson blade. Luke and Leia, cradled inside by Chewbacca, cry softly, their tiny force signatures pulsing like twin stars. Vader's grip tightens on the shuttle, Durasteel groaning under his will. Obi-Wan leaps forward, blade slashing, forcing Vader to release the craft. The shuttle lurches upward, engines roaring, but Vader's fury is a tempest. He hurls a wave of debris, shattered droids, molten rock, crashing against the hull. Obi-Wan counters, deflecting chunks with the Force, his movements a blur of precision. The duel is a maelstrom, blades sparking, each strike a clash of love against rage. Ahsoka, bloodied but resolute, joins Obi-Wan, her white sabers igniting despite her wounds. Together they press Vader, their blades weaving a lattice of light. Vader roars, his saber carving arcs that shatter the ramp's supports. The shuttle tilts, Chewbacca struggling to stabilize it. Ahsoka ducks a lethal swing, countering with a strike that grazes Vader's armor, sparks flying. Obi-Wan aims for his chest, but Vader catches the blade, twisting it aside with brute force. The fortress quakes, a lava geyser erupting nearby, bathing the scene in molten glow. Vader's mask gleams, his mechanical breath a relentless drum. He senses the twins slipping away, their presence fading as the shuttle gains altitude. Desperation claws at him, a flicker of Anakin screaming to protect, not destroy. Above, rebel fighters, led by Ram Kota's surviving pilots, hammer the Executor's defenses. Wookiee boarding parties wreak havoc, their bowcasters blasting stormtroopers. The Star Destroyer's bridge is chaos, officers shouting as shields fail. Chewbacca pilots the shuttle through the fray, dodging turbo laser blasts, Leia and Luke secure in a shielded cradle. Ahsoka falters, her strength waning, and Vader seizes the moment, slamming her into a wall with the Force. She crumples, sabers clattering, but Obi-Wan steps between them, his blade a shield. Vader's strikes rain down, each blow a hammer against Obi-Wan's defense. The Jedi's robes are singed, blood streaking his face, but his eyes burn with resolve. He fights not for victory, but for time, for the twins' escape. The shuttle breaks free, streaking toward hyperspace. Vader senses it, a void opening in his chest. He screams, the Force rippling outward, cracking the fortress walls. Obi-Wan seizes the distraction, leaping to a higher platform, luring Vader away from the shuttle's path. The Dark Lord pursues, his saber a whirlwind, cutting through steel and stone. Obi-Wan parries, retreating across a narrow bridge over a lava flow. The heat sears his skin, but he centers himself, drawing on the Force's light. Vader's rage blinds him, his strikes wild, missing the precision of a Sith. Obi-Wan sees Anakin in those moments, a shadow of the boy he loved, and it fuels his resolve. He deflects a blow, pushing Vader back, the bridge trembling beneath them. Ahsoka stirs, dragging herself to her feet. She grabs her sabers, limping toward the duel, determined to aid Obi-Wan. But the fortress collapses around them, ceilings caving, lava spilling into corridors. Rebel fighters above score a critical hit, the Executor's engines flaring as it lists. Vader senses the tide turning, his focus splitting between the twins and the battle. Obi-Wan strikes, his blade grazing Vader's shoulder, sparking circuits. Vader staggers, roaring, and unleashes a force wave that sends Obi-Wan crashing into a pillar. The Jedi rises, bloodied but unbroken, and charges again, blade flashing. Ahsoka joins, her sabers a faint glow, their combined assault forcing Vader to retreat across the crumbling bridge. The bridge collapses, lava surging upward. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka leap to safety, but Vader falls, his armor scorched as he clings to a jagged outcrop. His mask cracks, one red lens shattered, revealing a scarred, pale eye. Obi-Wan hesitates, seeing Anakin's gaze, a plea buried in the darkness. Ahsoka pulls him back, urging escape as the fortress implodes. They race to a rebel gunship, its ramp open, and board just as the structure collapses into the lava. Vader's form vanishes in the inferno, swallowed by fire and smoke. The gunship soars into orbit, joining the rebel fleet as it jumps to hyperspace, leaving Mustafar's ruin behind. Obi-Wan collapses, clutching Ahsoka, their shared grief a silent bond. On Yavin 4, the rebel base is a haven of quiet hope. Bail Organa cradles Leia, her tiny hand gripping his finger, while Luke rests in a crib, watched by Ram Kota. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka arrive, their faces etched with the cost of survival. The twins are safe, hidden once more, their Force signatures cloaked by Yoda's distant guidance from Dagobah. Obi-Wan kneels before Luke and Leia, his hand trembling as he touches their foreheads. He sees Padme in their eyes, and Anakin in their strength, a legacy of light enduring despite the darkness. Ahsoka stands apart, her gaze distant, haunted by the monster her master became. She vows to protect the twins, a silent oath to redeem Anakin's memory. The galaxy shifts in the aftermath. Palpatine, sensing Vader's failure, tightens his grip, dispatching inquisitors to hunt the twins. But the rebellion grows, fueled by Bail's diplomacy and Kota's defiance. Obi-Wan retreats to Tatooine, resuming his vigil, his heart heavy with loss but lifted by hope. Ahsoka vanishes into the outer rim, her white sabers a legend among the oppressed, striking at the Empire's edges. Luke and Leia, separated to protect them, grow in secret, their destinies intertwined with the Force's will. The Emperor's throne is secure, but cracks form, whispers of rebellion spreading like wildfire. The twins' light, though hidden, burns bright, a promise of balance yet to come. Vader's fate is uncertain. The Mustafar inferno spares him, his armor blackened, his body broken but alive. He crawls from the wreckage, sustained by rage and the faint echo of his children's presence. Sidious finds him, his punishment cruel, rebuilding him with pain-soaked cybernetics. Vader kneels, silent, his obsession buried but not extinguished. The twins remain beyond his reach, but their existence haunts him, a wound that neither Sith nor man can heal. The galaxy endures, its scars deep, but its hope deeper, carried in the hearts of those who fight for light. And folks, that's our story. This one was a blast to write, inspired by the raw emotion of Vader's tragedy and the hope of the Skywalker legacy. I leaned into the duels and heartbreak, channeling a bit of Revenge of the Sith's intensity. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.